Rosetta with Rosetta Grows, and I am excited to be with you today to show you how I'm going to propagate this Swedish ivy. And I don't know if you can see, oh, how do I get that to focus on these sweet little flowers? I didn't realize how beautiful it is when it blooms, Swedish ivy. And I just got a big Swedish ivy and these came off. Some of them you can see are broken. And so I am going to just trim these, and I'm probably going to trim it in pieces and see what I get. There's definitely some like aerial roots, these little nubs, and I've never propagated this before. So I'm just, look at all of that. Are those roots? Are those gonna propagate for me? I think so. So I am gonna take some cuttings from this. I have they're just like Fisker pruning shears, and that I use for like everything in my garden. And I'm going to take off the bottom so that there is kind of an empty stem, because I don't want anything to rot. When you propagate, you have to be really cautious that you have enough to give you some photosynthesis, but that you don't have much under there to rot. So it's kind of like you're balancing, like rooting it out and rotting it. So you got to be real careful. So I'm going to do, that one's nice and long. So, oh, you can't quite see, I'm going to put that here in the water. And then it smells so good. These flowers are really, really fragrant. That one, meh, that one doesn't look good. But this is a sweet, like, look at all that new, it looks new and fresh. And so I'm just going to take off, actually, if I had smaller shears, this would be a little bit easier. But, and I'm sorry, it's loud because I'm outside in the backyard and I don't have a mic yet to, make the sound better. So I hope it's not too loud. There's a plane flying overhead, there's cars going by, but we'll just do the best we can. And it's actually raining a little bit right now, so hopefully I can keep going. Okay, which we don't get rain very often, so that's pretty exciting. I'm gonna cut off the flowers because I feel like it might just be like wasted energy. Although right where I cut off that flower, there is like a stem. Wait, that's not the one. Oh, the one closest to you. This one. There was a flower coming off here, so I just snipped it off. But you see that it's got like little tiny baby leaves there, which is cool. I guess I'm not familiar with this at all. This is truly just an experiment, so I'm super glad. Maybe in a couple months from now, I will pull this out of the water and we'll plant it together, and it'll be freaking awesome. I don't get this plant at all. It has a bunch of new growth here on this stem. Well, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to take off that baby growth and plop it in the water. But I'm going to cut off, because it kind of broke here at the base, so I'm just going to give that a fresh new start. And I think that like all of these little nodes will either push out, those were where their stems were, so maybe these nodes will push out roots. I don't know. I'm really excited. I'm excited to find out. That's kind of ugly. So I'm putting it down here again in the water, but I'm going to trim this part off because I just don't like the way it looks. And I think this is going to be like a pretty little table arrangement, which doesn't look really fall-ish, but, it's going to be cute. Now that it's past Thanksgiving, I feel like I can decorate for Christmas, but this is also not very Christmassy. Whatever. All right, I'm going to chop, this one is a long one, so I'm going to kind of chop it. See those little bumpy nodes? I'm going to see if those spring roots. We'll just see what happens. See if this guy knew what he's talking about. I mean, it's worth a try. These were just going to go in the trash pile, so may as well. Again, I'm going to take this one, I'm going to cut it right like there. So then I've got a nice long one again. I'm going to take off that little baby. You see that? I don't want that to be under the water to rot. So I'm going to put it like that. And then I've got just about one more. Ooh, I don't know how I'm going to do that one because it's real full. I guess I'll have to take off these bottom leaves, and I am going to take off those flowers too. Although they smell so nice. Maybe I'll leave this one for fragrance. I don't know. It's just a giant experiment, you guys. I have no idea what I'm doing, really. I'm just going to see. Ooh. shoot, I broke it. So I have to chop above that node. I think that's a node. I don't even know if it's a node. But we're going to try it. We're going to try it. There's a little leaf down there. I think it's going to be good. And you know what? I am sitting right next to this. I propagated this a little bit ago. This is not on topic, but oh, it's so good. Some kind of oregano. I think it's called, I forgot what it's called. Something oregano. I should have a plant show, right? I know all these things. Ah, this broke again. Oh, that was just the flowers. I wanted to break those anyways. Okay. And, all right, the rest of these don't look that great. So what we have is a little kind of a wimpy looking thing, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it can't hurt, right? Can't hurt. I'm going to put this in the bookcase and let it sit and root and see what happens. So I'll check in once it gets a little bit bigger and see what happens next. You could just like and subscribe, and I'd love to hear your comments. If you know about this plant, it's the creeping Charlie, maybe, also known as Swedish ivy. And so if you know how it grows, if you know how it propagates, help me out. I'd love to know. And thanks so much. See you next time. You guys, I'm really excited. I thought this was going to be in a separate video because I thought it would be so much further from now. But literally, because I haven't had my act together, it's been 2 weeks since I filmed the last video. It's not up yet. Which means, dun dun dun, look at this. Look at this. Can you see all those little baby roots? I'll pull it out of the water in a second, but I wanted to show you. For some reason, I don't know if this is what's helping it. This was just an orchid pot. The orchid has seen better days. So I took it out of its pot. I don't know, the orchid like floats around the house somewhere. This, for some reason, got set in here by somebody other than myself. And I don't know, is it the darkened, you know, like, what do they call that? I get so bad at transparent, opaque. I'm so bad at that word. I don't know if it's dark, if that's why its roots are growing so fast. I don't know. But, and it sits next to my stove, which is a super random spot. So maybe it likes the warmth. But these roots have not only is it rooted out like with a taproot, but there's like the branching roots coming off. I don't know. You can see like that one. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? It's doing so well. These are so long. I'm really tempted to just put this in some dirt soon, some soil right away, but I don't know. I kind of want to let it go just a little bit longer. They seem just so tender and like helpless. There's just such tiny little roots. So cute. And I'm so excited. And it doesn't look cute. I don't even really like this pot. Someone gave me the orchid as a gift. Thank you, Sarah. The orchid's still alive. It's not my favorite color, but I'm glad I had it still. I'm glad the mason jar fit right in it. So whatever. It's working, so I'm going to keep it. I'm going to do an experiment, put them all in my little orchid pots and put them by the stove. So random. So random. So I had been, oh, it smells so good. If you like the smell of Febreze, you'll like the smell of Swedish ivy. So I did, you know, I bought the big Swedish ivy 2 weeks ago, and then I realized I don't really know how to care for Swedish ivy. I've just really, really loved it. I've always wanted some. And the Swedish ivy I have hanging up. It's going to be fine for winter where I have it, but in the summertime, I guess it doesn't really like any kind of sun. It'll burn it. And the guy at the store said it'll just lighten it. Really, it lightens it yellow, burns it. So it'll have to move. I'm looking at it over there, hanging nicely in the shade. So bright and direct, as most plants are, bright and direct. It needs bright and direct light, and it can dry out a little bit. It needs proper drainage, like most plants. They don't want to have soggy roots, and it turns out to be a pretty heavy feeder, which is fine. It wants to eat a lot. You need to fertilize it a lot during the summer and spring and summer months. and it still wants to be fertilized in the fall and winter, which is good to know because I wouldn't have done that otherwise. I've kind of pulled way back from fertilizing my outdoor plants. So this is actually, the Swedish ivy can grow inside. So I think what I am going to do is put this one inside, see what happens. I do have some bright indirect light inside. So that's my plan. I am really excited that it's already ready to rock and roll. I'm sure I'll pot it up in a separate video. I hope to get this one up before I pot, so we'll pot it up together some other time and see what happens. Super excited. Obviously, it's a prolific grower and good for beginners because it is so generous with the roots. They're all over. Let me see if I can take one out. I mean, just look at that. That stem alone pushed out 1, 2, 3, 4 taproots from just that one part. Oh, and I'm squishing one up there. See? Good gravy. That is awesome. So, I mean, and I have more. I mean, just so many in here. Every one I stuck in here is ready to rock and roll. Some of them that aren't even touching water are trying to root out. My goodness. So, yeah, I would say it's really a fun project for beginner propagating, which for the most part is what I am. So super excited, and that was a really fun experiment. It was so worth it. Super fun experiment, and if anyone local needs some Swedish ivy, I got some for you. You can propagate it. So yeah, we'll see you next time when we pot it up. Please like and subscribe. That would be so awesome. And comment, have you done this before? Do you know what I'm doing? Do you know what you're doing? Help. Bye.